You're listening to Hella Black, Hella Seattle, a podcast creating community for people of color in Seattle. I'm Eula, leading the interviews.
I'm Elena, bringing you food reviews.
And I'm Jazz, adding to your weekend plans.
And we're all born and raised Seattle ladies. Hey!
I want us to start to this song.
Sorry. Hey. Hey.
Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, ever, ever get on my level. You don't wanna. What?
Never ever, y'all.
Ever, 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 ever. Huh? What? Bitch. Never. Ever.
And in case you didn't know, black people were the inventor of ad-libs.
Yes. Yeah.
That was great.
Shout out Lil Scrappy.
Right.
Little Scrappy.
Lil John.
So good. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Hella Black, Hella Seattle.
Hello.
So today we are blessed to have our guest with us for the majority of our show. We're hoping Rell Be Free. Welcome.
What's up, y'all?
Hey.
Oh, y'all so sweet.
We're so happy to have you. It's really exciting that you're coming on the show and being a part of this with us.
Mm-hmm. It's great to be here. I'm blessed to be here, y'all. I've had fun thus far.
Nice. So Rell's coming off of his homegrown tour, which was a tour all around the city of Seattle and other. Was it outside of the city or?
Nope, it was all Seattle, South End of the city.
So good. Where he promoted and put his own music on a platform, but behind him were predominantly black folks. And so we're all black folks.
All black folks.
All black
and I mean,
Why'd I say that?
my DJ's Mexican. Shout out to Pop.
I'll take it because you know we're looked at the same by a lot of folks.
Yeah. You know,
So hey.
solidarity.
Yeah, and so today's actually the last day of Rell's tour, and
This is the closer.
and he's spending it with us,
Hey,
and
I
that's
love
why this is a
it.
very special episode.
Hello.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Hi you guys. Thanks for listening to Hella Black, Hella Seattle. We are really excited because, you know, as you know, we have a new schedule of events. And right now you guys are listening to our interview episode. And we are really, really, really excited that our guest today is Rell Be Free. Hey, Rell.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? It's good to be here.
We
I've
are
been
so happy you're
Hello.
here.
so much fun here.
And everyone, Rell's actually going to be with us all month. So as you listen to this episode, be ready for the fact that Jasmine's events next week are going to be coming with Rell guest starring, as well as Elena's Insight is going to be coming after that, and Rell will be there as well. Rell, for those who do not know, is a rapper.
MC.
I appreciate that you don't say rapper.
I'm
I
an
realized
MC.
as I said that, I was like, does he say that he's a rapper? You said you're a rapper a little earlier. I mean,
Yeah, I did say
later,
that.
but don't
Yeah.
worry about that. And
If
you
I
see
say I'm
yourself,
black and I'm African American,
yeah.
there's an emphasis on something depending on when you say it.
Right.
And who
Yeah.
says it?
Exactly.
Yes,
How I feel in that moment.
always. But and so for those who do not know, an MC is a master of ceremonies, meaning that you are the person who controls the crowd.
Yep.
Yeah.
MC squared because
I like
I can host. I host events.
Okay.
Like I'm like literally the MC introducing who's next.
Yep.
But then also like
Performer.
throw a beat on
And poet.
One of the nastiest and a poet.
Yeah. And I mean not beyond, as well as that, because you are all facets of yourself at all times. But as well as that, you are also a teacher.
I'm an educator and an organizer, and that all encompasses within each other.
Yeah. And you work at Rainier Beach High School.
Rainier Beach High School.
Which is like
South End.
one maybe still brown.
Oh, it is. It
All the
is.
way?
It's the blackest. Yeah, it's the blackest school in Seattle Public School District easily. Probably one of the blackest high schools in the state of Washington. And we'll see how long it's still neighborhood based on what's the wave that's hitting Rainier Beach right now, hitting South End in general.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons you guys why we're having Rell on this episode today is because Rell is celebrating his homegrown tour and
Homegrown, new growth.
Oh yes. So, what did I say?
Yeah.
Right, I said all that. Yeah. I'm just realizing I've drank probably enough.
I think we're good.
This is a beautiful day. So Homegrown New Growth Tour. And because New Growth is the album, Homegrown is the tour.
Yes.
And you just finished out the tour, and the tour was local, all in Seattle, and it was a bunch of shows.
It was hella shows, 12.
Yeah, that's
so
a
dope.
lot.
Yeah.
And how many
Homegrown.
days?
So between April 27th and May 27th, I did 12 shows.
That's amazing.
Wow.
How was the turnout?
Probably 10 out of the 12 were like what we wanted,
Right.
or more. There were 2 that were less attended, But
we ain't gotta
it
talk
was
about those.
no. But even still, I want to because
Yeah.
even more so, it's like it was about the representation of what we did.
Right.
Like we did a partnership with Legacy Fridays
Mm-hmm.
at Washington Hall. That's the
So
second Friday of every month at Washington Hall. My big bro, A-Son, Santonio Bandanas, like was mentored by my pops.
No.
Right.
And like now that I'm like 25 and he's been running the show, like, you know, we clicked up for that. We celebrated Malcolm X Day
Yeah.
at Life Enrichment
Amazing.
Bookstore. Rest in peace to Miss Vicky. We celebrated
Yeah,
Malcolm X Day,
R.I.P.
you know, and watched the documentary, had community conversation. And those ones were a little bit more intimate in that, like, there were less people.
Yeah.
But the content and the conversation and the fruit from it was, I was like, I wanted to do this tour how the fuck I wanted to do it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I didn't care, like, numbers that came out, it wasn't about that. It was like, one, I want to show that you don't need no industry,
Right.
no label to set this up for you. Matter of fact,
Absolutely.
it's either access or resources. If you ain't got resources and you got access,
Yeah.
then you got to leverage that.
Yeah.
And so we did 12 events over, 30 days. And it was lit. It was popular.
I'm a strong believer too in that, like, no matter the size of the event, the people that were supposed to be there were there,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and that you generate the right energy when it's not forced but focused.
Absolutely.
So I know that was good.
Mhm.
That's amazing. So 12 tours in a matter of a couple of months, all around one city.
That's insane.
Oh yeah, 1 month. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, all within 1 month, all around the city, and you had a fantastic turnout.
Yeah, black
And-
owned businesses.
That's-
Yeah,
So-
and completely backed by black folks.
Mm-hmm.
How did you?
And-
Was that hard for you to do?
Of course not. This is my fault. This is why I organize. Like, I very intentionally rock with us. Now here's what the nuance is though, and this is what folk keep telling me. We in Seattle,
Right.
and it's
We're in the white
people-
place.
Yeah, we're in one of the whitest places of all time.
Mhm.
It's 6.5% us.
And quote unquote progressive though. Which is a
You
special
don't
kind
even
of white.
have to mention that. I go so ham on white people at my shows. It's funny how they really they fuck with me heavy.
Yeah.
Like, white people be coming to my show.
Yeah.
And it be cool. And I be like, I'm talking about you, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I think that the best white people are on my favorite kind of white person. I recently decided. Have I told you to this?
You finally decided.
No, I have. I had to think about it. I think about these things. My favorite kind of white person is an honest white person. And what that means is you are honest about your privilege, and you are honest about the place that I'm in society. So when you rap the truth, or not when you, but when you speak the truth, Rell, an honest white person says he ain't lying.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't lying. I mean, he's telling the truth. So I should listen, and I'm just gonna be,
Yeah.
if it's another direction, then we probably shouldn't hang out because my reality is not your reality.
Yeah.
So if you are not an honest white person, if you have once told me that my racism, that what I saw was racism wasn't really racism, means you ain't honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're not really friends anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't hang out with people if they're not really honest about it no more.
That's hella real.
Yeah. So I bet you they're at your shows.
I would like to say as long as they're not taking their resentments out on us, because I think they tend to take their own personal energies and resentments out on black people.
Yeah.
Guilt.
Yeah.
Like guilt, anger, frustration.
Mm-hmm.
I come after all that. Like I'm very and this is kind of what, as I'm starting to blow up and starting to be more known.
Yeah.
Is I'm very unapologetically, my music is for black people.
Right.
I'm telling stories that are about me and my family and my homies in my neighborhood and people that I want this to relate to
Right.
black people all around the world. And I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah.
I thought you gotta have reach. You gotta, you gotta tell. It's supposed to be for everybody. And I'm like, your
No.
music can be for everybody,
But also
but
their
my damn
music isn't
is
for
gonna
everybody.
Be. And like the
Right.
fact that I don't have to feel
And I don't
compromising,
care.
and that I know who I'm aiming.
Yeah.
I know who I'm talking about. I know who I'm telling the story for. And
Yeah.
so if you like it, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Green Eggs and Ham wasn't for you, but you
Right.
like it, so
Right.
dope.
Right.
That's
Right.
your book. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
and
Like,
I mean,
read
if
it.
somebody says that you need to think about who your listeners are, you need to tell them that Metallica ain't thinking about me.
Right.
Right.
Metallica
If
does
my
not
art form is
care
my art
about
form.
What
Yeah.
what people in this room are thinking about.
No,
Right.
and they're
Screamo.
millionaires. So what I should be doing is worrying about who I am and being on purpose with what I'm good at and just being right. Oh,
Just
that's
stay
weird.
in your lane, you know? And that's why,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, from my content to how I show out in public,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, bruh, you ain't gonna hear me up on, I might be
Yeah.
playing around, but it's like, bro, my kids see me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, they know, Mr. Jarrell ain't out here like that no more. You know what I'm saying?
No more.
So
I'm joking about that.
as
You
if
know what
I
mean?
was like ever out here.
No, for real. Because you're
busting
a
out the window.
Yeah, no, for real. But you gotta let the kids know. Think you were out there at one point, because then you got clout.
But nah,
Oh.
you don't even have to.
Yeah.
But that's the real. I was having a conversation with my little bro earlier today. Shout out to Alik.
Hey.
I was having a conversation with him, and I was like, bro, I work with young folks, so I'm always like, who are y'all vibing with? Because when I started making music and like really taking it seriously, I was like, I want to make a product that my grandmother wants to listen to,
Right.
will be okay listen to, and that my high schoolers want to bump hella loud when they get their first car.
Okay.
I want to be able to encapsulate like that entire audience, and that's pretty vast, So I'm highlighting the little homie, and I'm just like, we having a conversation about music, he's telling me G Herbo, Gunna, Lil Baby, S.O.B., and I mess with like a lot of those cats, like the sound and all that, But I was like, bro, so do you think I gotta like talk about some like nonsense in order to like catch y'all generation ear? And he was like, nah, but what you spit is that real, and whether or not people like want to hear that, people recognize it, and they're hearing to say like, oh, you're talking about some real shit. I might not listen to it every single day, but when I hear you come on and when I see you, it's like, okay, I know that he's legit. Like, there's nobody, if there's anybody out there that doubts my rap ability, they can come see me any day of the week, and everybody on earth that knows me knows that. So it's not a question.
Well, what about Drake?
First of all, Drake's not thinking about me. Second of all, I'll let Pusha T handle that. But
in due time.
Yeah, exactly.
In due time, we'll get to Drake.
In due time, I'll be making Drake disses in no time.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people before Drake that I would come after.
Right.
Who would you come after first?
Ooh.
You're pointing at it says Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely. All white
Hell
rappers.
Yeah.
I would come after all white rappers. No, I'm being dead ass.
No,
and I know a lot of people feel some kind of way about that, but
I don't think if a person feels like they can rap and you rap, then it's fair game.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But also it's interesting to think about Macklemore, and I'm comfortable with having a conversation about him for a moment, because just recently I was thinking about him, and I was thinking like he's so local, we kind of know him. You guys went to Garfield while he was there, and
was he? But how long was he there?
Who knows?
Okay, and I know him too. I'm not gonna talk about it, but long story short, I think about this person. I thought about like, would we ever have somebody like Macklemore on the show? Do you know what I mean? Just because he's local and we're a show that is, but it's black, right? It's black and it's POC. And then I was thinking, he's not done right by us, right? And I can't see where he's shown up and impacted our community locally for him to have been so local. That doesn't mean that I'm not a fan of him, but it just means I wasn't like, seeing him where I needed to see him. Yeah. And my next thought though was like, isn't he the most white Seattleite there ever was? Yeah. I thought about the way that he reached out to Kendrick Lamar after, winning. And I thought about, like, the mindset you had to be in to know that, I mean, from our perspective as people, Seattleites, I saw Macklemore really hustling out here in the streets. But his community was predominantly people of color. Oh, yeah. Right? His community of, like, who really was within his pocket. No, I mean, like, support was white. I will say support was a good amount white. But people who were in his pocket, grinding with him in his videos, with his music, they were people of color.
And a lot of them are MCs that did not pop in that way, that are still gully. Shout out to my bro, Gabriel Teodros, who is from Abyssinian Creole. Shout out to Khalil. Yeah. And Gabriel recorded my album, New Growth. Yeah. But that's my, I guess I wouldn't say like my problem. Who cares? Like, I got a perspective. Everybody got opinions and perspectives. Yeah. Is that like, I think that there's rappers from Seattle that have popped that don't actually represent. Actually, to an extent, Macklemore is probably as Seattle. He looks like Seattle. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, my thought was, I just thought
kid with access that thrift shops, white boy that wants to rap. Like, this is that's as Seattle as it gets.
Also,
but that's not South End.
Also, thinks he's very liberal. I mean, is liberal all through it. You know what I mean? Probably has a big L on his head at all times, right? Is liberal as can be. Is against all things racist, but is okay with letting someone like Kendrick Lamar not win. Does that make sense? And knowing that the only reason he has to understand, right? That the only reason he won was because he's a white man.
Oh, he understands that.
And so, I mean, that whole apology is like, I'm sorry for being white, but I had to take the award because that's how the system works. It's like, get out of here.
We don't want nobody to apologize for, waking up white. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But also, we don't want you. But also, you are just. I mean, I don't know. I've recently given myself a PhD in whiteness, and
so in Seattle, I think you got that.
Listen, and I just think about how like Seattle's one of those places where everybody says they're so for POC, they're so pro-black. But if somebody then was like, "I'll give you $200 to kick a black person," they'd be like, "Oh, you know, I gotta take it."
Like, can I kick that black person?
But I
got one in mind right now.
No, that would be maybe one of the questions. But one of the first questions would be, "Can I apologize after?" Oh, so I'll kick him, but then I can apologize after, and you don't even have to say how hard I gotta kick him. You know what I mean? But we don't have to give him that much air or breath.
It's not even that. It's not even about him. I think it's about Seattle, because like I could translate that whole conversation into just talking about Seattle as a whole.
Yeah.
And like, as an MC, like I'm an organizer, and like I wouldn't call myself I'm not a politic.
Yeah.
But bro, I'm a part of the People's Party, and we ran for mayor and almost won that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I kind of know what I'm talking about. 1, because I'm on the ground. 2, because I study this stuff. 3, because I live here. So like, I pretty got a trifecta of like experience.
Right.
So when I think about like Seattle, this young lady named Christiana that ran for Kirsten Harris-Talley's the position that she wound up winning. She told me, she said that people in Seattle are equity ventriloquists. And so like, you know, like they talk about it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's a dummy.
But it's a hand up somebody it's a hand up their butt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Telling like Malvin it for them.
Yeah.
And so we can talk about all of what's going on in Seattle. They can be progressive as they want.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still black folks and indigenous folk, native folks that are bearing the brunt of every single element and pillar of society, and that's fact.
Yeah.
It's absolute fact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if it's not, shit, you shitting on your own people.
Right.
We got 4,500 homeless people, and we're steady building houses for the 1,000 people that are moving here a month.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want to keep saying like equity? No. That's it's incongruent.
Yeah.
Can I tap in?
Please
ask
do.
a question? Rell, you are super educated on all things black and Seattle. You're 25?
25.
So young.
Yo,
So handsome.
26.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn.
I love auntie.
No. What's so funny is he definitely said this to me earlier. I was like, "Are you 25? Are you like a baby?" He was like, "I'm 25, about to turn 26," and I was like, "That's adorable." In my head.
I know. I have to say, Mama's Day. Shout out to my mama. Yeah, I was born in 1992 between the LA riots and the Chronic.
Okay.
So I'm somewhere. My energy is between there.
Okay.
But no, growing up out here, I had a pops that. Shout out to my dad, who. Like provided me, first of all, like reading was something that like was always impressed upon us, and I did not like to read until post college. So like it was impressed upon. It wasn't until I graduated from college and started really like my own self education that. And actually, I was in college. I've always been a good student. I've always been a good student. But teaching me about, he used to make me look up the etymology of words. Okay. And so like if I was a word I didn't know, I have to look up. You know, the root word, the Latin, you know what I'm saying? That, and I think
that's dope.
That's like definitely started to build in me,
absolutely.
You know, the poetic piece of like being a wordsmith, and I consider myself that. But then also the history piece. Like bro Bubba was saying, you know, like I was in classes and I knew some of the shit they were saying was wrong. Right. A lot of it was wrong. Like, how come we are starting Black history at slavery? Yeah. You know that there were. What do you know what black means? Yeah. Teacher. Right. You know? And so it came from a lot of reading. It came from, shout out to Miss Vicky, who was the owner and the creator of Life Enrichment Bookstore. That's a place that I grew up in.
Yes. This was in Columbia City.
It's in Columbia City. No, it used to be in the CD. Okay. And then it got moved further south, and it's been in Columbia City for the last 7+ years.
But she passed away.
She passed away recently, actually around this time last year. February 17th last year. Okay. February 17th is Vicki Williams Day. Shout out to her. Go and support Life Enrichment Bookstore. And so reading, but then also my pops is from Compton. So I got family in LA, and so I spent a lot of time in LA.
That's what it is.
That's the thing. But that's the thing about like Seattle is when you're black and from Seattle, you gotta get out of Seattle. Yes. Because you can almost believe that the whole world is like this, and it's like no, it's not. There's actually like hella more black people, and
all over.
I was on the light rail today, and I was just looking around. And I was like, man, Seattle people so whack. You try to look at somebody, they look away.
Yeah.
Even if they black, you know, you want to be like, bro, if this train get hijacked, it's you and me.
Yeah.
Right? And they're on,
and they be like, I'm with them, actually.
Did you look at my color contact?
Right, exactly.
You know, you look at somebody, you know that you know that they caught your eye.
Right.
And you keep looking at them like,
I was thinking this the other day, and this girl had colored contacts on, and I was trying to give her all of my good energy, and all she was thinking, she literally, you guys, looked at a white woman in front of me like this. And the woman did not look back at her. I gave you a wave, you guys, for those who are listening. And then I'm behind that woman going like, hey, and I'm doing all of the same things. And she looked at me and was like, and I was like, damn, her eyes were blue.
She wanted to be.
And then I was like, okay, never mind, you ain't with me. But she was young. She was like going to UW.
Yeah.
Whenever I leave Seattle though, folks stay. But first of all, like black people outside Seattle don't really know
that we exist.
That we're out here. They don't know about Seattle. Period.
No.
They especially don't think that we out here like
yeah.
it's black. But that's because they come here and they live. They go downtown. They go to Pike Place.
Or they don't come here.
Space Needle, and they don't know that the South End.
They've heard about the weed.
Or they don't even come here.
Or they're like, why would I go to Seattle? It rains.
Yeah.
Say, oh yeah, there's trees. Where I live, there's no trees. So yeah, let's go to Seattle and see trees.
It's funny because you say that, and I think about like when I remember the first time I ever heard that I was like 11 or 12 in Atlanta for the summer, and I remember what everybody said was they got black folks in Seattle, and then but it would take
still saying that,
and the trail would be like, where are you from? Seattle. Seattle what? Seattle, Washington. Oh, like Washington D.C. No, like Seattle, Washington, like where the Sonics play. Oh, like where the Sonics play. Like what? They got white people up there? I mean, they got black people up there? And it was like, God damn, like, I exist. I'm right in front of you.
Yep.
Right.
And so they always say to me, they say, oh, you sound like a white boy.
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not cool, but like...
What am I supposed to say to that?
Andre 3000 said something like, he was like, you can't shame me because I read a book or two. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You say I sound like a white boy, but like I fucks with black people, and I know where I'm from. I know who I am. I know who I work and live for. Like,
yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's how you feel. So your dad was really into you having that education. Was he also any kind of a poet or a writer?
So it's funny, like what I am as an MC. I think I'm like a combo. Obviously, I'm a combo with my parents. My mom is a singer, always been a vocalist, and music has always been a part of my upbringing. And actually, it's funny, and not probably until the last like 5 years, I actually started to like reflect on my youth and what could have produced who I am now.
Right.
And so my pops, he's an MC, but not squared. He's just an MC. Okay. Because I would always watch him hosting, facilitating spaces. He calls himself, and I call him a master facilitator. You know what I'm saying? Like he grew up in Compton in the 60s and 70s. So this is the era that parented NWA. You know what I'm saying? This is right before crack hit in the late 80s.
Right.
He came up here for college, and so he talks about how he played. Like he grew up in Compton when they was Compton Crips. Now we think about Compton, we say Bompton. We think about Pyru. We think about Bloods. In the 60s, it was actually a lot of Crips in Compton. It was Compton Crips, and that was the thing. And so he actually played like a lot of mediator role in the streets that he was coming up in, playing sports and all that. And so that's translated into him being a facilitator, host of spaces. He too, so to an extent you could say that, but I mean, community organizing.
Yeah.
You know,
we end up being a different version of ourselves. We have our parents. I say ourselves.
I'm a combo with him, and so I'm an MC.